Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
Tough, feisty, scrappy, however you want to get into it. This next player, number 26 on our list, rookie Renardo Green, is a fun watch. Already in camp showing out, mini camp OTAs showing out, personality, perfect fit, play style. It's the 49ers. This is a 49ers corner if there ever was one. Now, they took him a lot earlier than I had him. I'll get into my draft write-up, my pre-draft write-up of him before the Niners selected him. But the more you watch him, the more you're around him, the more you like him. And just physical. He is the mirror to Juwan Jennings. And you've seen it already in camp. Just pesky, tough, physical. Now, he doesn't have the size of Juwan Jennings, but I'm telling you, nickel corner on slot wide receiver, they're going at it in camp. And Juwan's obviously getting the better of it. He's a 5-year vet, all those things. First day of pads, I remember, they just threw just a quick hitch route, just 4-yard stop route, just catch, sling it to Juwan Jennings, and Renardo comes up and thuds him. You're not supposed to go to the ground ever, right, against your own team. So he comes up and thuds him, and Juwan Jennings just judo throws Renardo Green to the side. It was just well, welcome to the NFL, Rook. And so you always want to see how they respond. Well, how did he respond? That dude was thumping people and driving through people and hitting people the rest of practice. So, who are you? You know what I mean? Are you going to get bullied, or are you going to bully? And he had that kind of, light bulb moment, and then afterwards he responded exactly how you want to. So, fun player. Shout out to Josh, executive producer of today's show. Renardo Green, wearing number 33 out there. 5'11", 186. They like that 6 foot 200. He's a little light, but they like him in the nickel spot. Now, he's playing a little bit of both in OTAs and minicamp. As far as training camp has gone, he's been predominantly inside as that backup nickel role. Diamador Lenore's getting almost all the first-team snaps. Renardo Green's been out there getting the second-team snaps. And there was one practice he missed. He came back the next day. But there was one practice he missed, and, it was Samuel Womack. It was Chase Lucas. Those guys were getting those nickel snaps. But it seems like early on in training camp, Renardo Green's number 2 slot guy behind Diamador Lenore. And he's playing like he belongs. Not a lot of issues as far as negative plays. And that's we all love the rookie highlights, and those are easy to fall in love with and whatever else. But when you're at practice and you're at these preseason games, what gets you playing time, highlights help. It's the ones where you're the highlight for the opposing team with your bust, with your negatives. And as a defensive back, those are just monumental. He didn't have those. He is consistently where he needs to be. Makes it very difficult on the wide receivers and quarterbacks, and that's what the Niners' MO is with DBs. Now, he's got 31.25-inch arms, very short arms, 23 years old, ran a 4.4940, so just under 4.5, solid, 1.533 cone, shifty, 37.5-inch vertical, 10-inch broad jump. Now, you plug all those in, Carrington Valentine was a guy who came up, and his play style is more like Cam Smith, who I really liked out of South Carolina. And again, I thought, 3rd to 4th round. That's where I thought he would go. Went late 2nd. Now, the Niners did trade back a spot. We'll talk about that trade here in a little bit. So, I always say this. You draft a player, you like him. You trade up for a player, you love him. You trade back for a player, you'll settle on him. And not trying to, deflate the Renardo Green hype, because I love this kid and I'm very thankful they drafted him higher than I would have. But in the NFL draft, you don't take him there, probably wasn't going to be there whenever you picked at the back end of round 3. And you already had your target, Dominique Pooney. So at some point, if you're convicted on a player, you just take him. Now, let's go to the 49ers defensive back coach, Bullock's, talk about Renardo Green, the rookie.
Smooth athlete, very mature. He's fluid. The thing is with him is he moves like water. His change of direction, got quick feet, and then a guy that it never seemed so big for him. He always even kill. Whether if he make a bad play, he make a good play. He's always even kill. It's never too big for him. He learning 2 positions right now, which I talked about earlier, which is hard for him. But he's doing a great job handling that mentally. He's not making many busts. He's flying around. He's doing the best he can. He's getting better each and every.
Hey, that clip was during minicamp OTAs, right? So no longer, at least through 2 weeks of training camp, is he playing both inside and out. They're focusing him a little more inside, which I like. And then also, you heard him talk about, like, even after a bad play, even kill. That has shown itself to be true through 2 weeks. Now, his main reps are going to take place in those preseason games. That's going to be paramount for him, which I'm excited about. But whenever you have your coach say all these things about you, and then you go and you show that through training camp, it's just check. Like consistency, which is like, that's antithetical to what it means to be a rookie in the NFL. Consistency is lacking, and that's what stops rookies and younger players from being there. You've heard Kyle Shanahan say the phrase so many times, the moment's not too big for him. Bright lights aren't too big for him. We can trust him in a big moment. Like, those type of character traits, 49ers value big time. Now, he grew up, born and raised in Orlando, Florida, went to Wekiva High School, then Florida State. So he's been in Florida predominantly his entire life. Huge track guy, posted 11.3 in the 100-meter dash, which is fast. It's not like amazing, but it's fast. 21-foot, 2-inch long jump, that's great. Nickname growing up was Duda Green. And chose Florida State over Ohio State. Stayed closer to home. Played safety, nickel, outside corner, inside corner, that star position, Panther, Jack, whatever you want to call it. Almost every single player for the 49ers, like on defense, plays that role. I mean, Renardo Green, Malik Mustafa, Toledo Hufunga, Fred Warner, Jalen Graham. I mean, you just go on and on and on and on. They love those guys that play that hybrid role on defense that provide the versatility, because they can play the run, they can play the pass, they can play man, they can play zone. That they just value that. And in the future on our draft day, if a player plays that, man, bump them up around. It's just what it is. Was honorable mention All-ACC in 2022, second team All-ACC last year, and he played against some elite players. You know, probably the best tape you're going to find on Renardo Green is against the best player, Malik Neighbors. And again, we have this up on the49ersrush.com and our Patreon channel right now. Just scroll down to player breakdowns, Renardo Green, watch it. That dude was awesome. And to show up in your best game, which they won, by the way, they beat LSU, Florida State did, and a large reason why it was Renardo Green. There's one point where they're in the red zone, like on the 5-yard line, and it's 3 straight targets to Malik Neighbors. Went 0 for 3. And got an interception later on. And so I think there were 6 targets to Malik Neighbors that game. Here we go. He was targeted 6 times, Green was. He allowed 3 catches for 28 yards. Got beat on a slant, a hitch, and like a quick screen. That was it. And Green got an interception in the fourth quarter to ice the game. So can he play against NFL talent? 100%. An anonymous NFL scout with The Athletic interview, this is what the anonymous scout said. Quote, he fought admirably against LSU's Malik Neighbors early in the year, proving his athleticism was more than a match for the Tigers' top prospect, and he also gave evaluators a gauge for his talent level at the NFL. End quote. Malik Neighbors went 6th overall. 6th in the first round. Now, you look at a lot more of his tape. He's tough, right? That's kind of what he does. Now, he doesn't have a lot of ball skills. Only 1 interception, and it was in the biggest game of, his toughest matchup anyway. Lacks some size. That's going to push him down draft boards. Very, very consistent footwork, but tenacity, closing speed, coverage, patience, these are the things that jumped off, the screen for me. He was a 9 on 49ers fit scale. Like, I thought this guy was just a perfect fit. I had him below some corners that went after him, but it just made sense that this was a 49ers guy. You look at his PFF grades last year, 83.2 overall, very good. 86.4 in coverage, good. 61.8 run defense. That's the one where it's like, and while I docked him a little bit. Now, his run defense, it's not like he's scared to hit or, no, he will hit. Not an issue. But there were some issues. There's no doubt about that. My pre-draft write-up of him, this is before the Niners drafted him, Held his own versus Malik Neighbors. 16 forced incompletions. That's 6th best in the NCAA. Can play all cornerback spots. Pesky corner that just bothers wide receivers. You can see it on the All-22 silent tape. No issues with toughness, taking on blocks, or helping in the run game. Kid is tough. Just absorbs wide receiver speed on routes, but doesn't grab. Wish he had more slot work, as I think nickel is his best fit. Very good in man, just makes life hard on wide receivers. Plays way bigger than 186. Lack of interceptions are an issue, but his pass breakups are insane. I mean, this dude, he had 16 pass breakups last year. Like he gets his hands on the football, he just can't get interceptions. He's like a little Charvarius Ward. Yeah, that's what he is. 38 career games played at Florida State in 2 years as a starter. That's huge. So the durability's there, and he lined up all over. Now listen to my traits. 1 through 9. Recovery speed 7. Footwork 9. I thought that was his best trait. Ball skills 6. Because I wanted to put 3 or 4 because he has no interceptions, but he gets his hands on the ball a lot, so I bumped him back up to 6. Strength 5. That's kind of his weakness. But you see him go toe-to-toe with Juwan Jennings. That's no small feat. Tackling 7, run support 7. He's a back end of the second round guy. Now, we traded back. We were at 63. We traded picks with the Chiefs, which I hate. We gave them our 2nd and 6th. We got their 2nd and 5th. So we fell back 1 spot, but we jumped from 211 in the 6th round to 173 in the 5th round. Then we traded that 5th round pick with another 5th round pick to get Isaac Guerrero. He's injured. We'll see how that pans out. But fun player. 1 career interception, that hurts. 22 career pass breakups, great. Great. Played in, I talked about the starts, played in 46 games. So what's he going to be? I think week 1, he's the backup nickel. Now the question is, Isaac Yiadom is currently the number 3 corner on the outside. So when they go nickel, Yiadom and Charvarius Ward are outside and Demo slides inside. That is what the 49ers want. Every first-team rep has been exactly that. Now, the question is, if Yiadom struggles, now I'm pretty high on Isaac Yiadom, but let's just say he struggles. Do the 49ers keep Demo outside and bring on Renardo Green, or do they keep Demo moving inside and bring on Ambry Thomas? Now, I know some of you guys just got sick. The 49ers Ambry Thomas is rotating in as that next corner. Then it's either Darrell Luter Jr. or Rock Ya-Sin. But Ambry's getting all those reps. I don't like it any more than you guys do. Early in the year, Ambry's one thing. Late in the year, you go back and you watch the playoffs and those games that were terrible with the defense, Ambry Thomas is culprit number 1. Number 1. Just got abused. Detroit Lions, freaking Green Bay Packers just abused that man. So we'll see. Yeah, I want the rookie out there, but maybe if it's after the bye week, they'll put him out there. But special teams is going to be the way. Practice, learn. The red shirt philosophy of the 49ers, not about to change. I do think Renardo, that if Demo got hurt, now that changes everything. Now Renardo Green's playing because Renardo Green's getting all those snaps ahead of Chase Lucas and Samuel Womack. So we'll see. And Samuel Womack's just now getting snaps at the nickel, and it's like, I think 1 out of 6 days so far that I've been out there. So it's not like Samuel Womack's permanent position is nickel. He's played inside and outside, but 5 out of 6 days he's outside. So I don't think that's a permanent thing. So Chase Lucas, Samuel Womack, Renardo Green, and then you got Demo, who's playing he might be the best player in camp so far, if I'm being honest. Diamador Lenore is balling out. It don't matter where he is. But the rookie, not bad to sit and wait. Remember, all these corners, expiring contracts. All of them. Charvarius Ward, last year. Diamador Lenore, last year. Isaac Yiadom, last year. Ambry Thomas, last year. Rock Ya-Sin, last year. Chase Lucas, last year. Renardo Green's opportunity might not take place till next year. I'm assuming they'll bring 1 or 2 of those guys back, but is it going to be Demo? Is it going to be Charvarius Ward? contracts are contracts. We'll see what goes. But like this kid, he's a lot of fun. Oh, yeah, before we go, I missed this clip. I apologize. Here's the current 49ers DC, Nick Sorensen, just talking about how fun Renardo Green has been.
I've been really happy with Renardo. The cool thing is he's moving. He's been doing both nickel and corner, and it's not a lot of time, right? It's a certain amount of practices and hasn't fully been a nickel, so he's really embraced the challenge of it. That's the best part. Like, it's never perfect because now all of a sudden we're teaching you all these different coverages, but there's also run fits too, and then that changes. And guess what? You can't fully trigger and feel the physicality of the line because there's rules and those guys aren't playing the same. But just with him, it's just the mentality and the competitiveness that I love. We knew the movement skill was there, and you see it in man-to-man stuff, and he gets those too. But just he's embraced any challenge anything that's hard, I think he's embraced, and he's kind of attacked it and willingly been like, no, man, I want more of that. And that's really been awesome.
Obviously you're going to get coach speak, and they're going to say positive things and all that. But it seems like every time somebody asks about Renardo, you get specific, positive things that are very specific. And so, it's encouraging. And I'm just telling you, you see him on the field, out there in team and one-on-ones, and it's like, yeah, that's what a 49ers defensive back looks like. That's how a 49ers defensive back carries themselves. So, Renardo, going to be here for at least 4 years. How soon he sees the field, I don't know. Probably at some point with the history of 49ers DB injuries. But can't wait to see him. And for us, we'll just keep counting them down.